This is one of my favorite series of videos I do here on the MeidasTouch network, where we talk about how mainstream Republicans, real conservatives, independents have abandoned the Republican Party, are running away from the Republican Party as it has been taken over by Trump and MAGA. And so I share the stories that you share with me. And I always ask you, if you have a similar story where you've left the Republican Party because the Republican Party has left you, or if you were an independent who would vote Republican and Democrat depending on the election, but no longer vote for the MAGA Republican Party, or if you just know someone who has a similar story who's run away from this MAGA mutation, share it in the comments below, and then I will do another video where I read your story. So please tell me your story in the comments below. Let me give you some data points, though, before sharing this story. And I love these videos that I'm about to share with you. The first one is the 1980 Republican primary presidential debate between George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan, right? These are two conservatives in 1980. This is the Republican Party in 1980. And this is how they were debating the issue of immigration. Play this clip.
But the problem has to be solved. The problem has to be solved because as we have kind of made illegal some kinds of labor that I'd like to see legal, we're doing two things. We're creating a whole society of really honorable, decent, family-loving people that are in violation of the law, and secondly, we're exacerbating relations with Mexico. The answer to your question is much more fundamental than whether they attend Houston schools, it seems to me. I don't want to see if they're living here, I don't want to see a whole thing of 6- and 8-year-old kids being made, one totally uneducated and made to feel that they're living with outside the law. Let's address ourselves to the fundamentals. These are good people, strong people. Part of my family is a Mexican.
Can I add to that? I think the time has come that the United States and our neighbors, particularly our neighbor to the south, should have a better understanding and a better relationship than we've ever had. And I think that we haven't been sensitive enough to our size and our power. They have a problem of 40 to 50% unemployment. Now, this cannot continue without the possibility arising with regard to that other country that we talked about, of Cuba and what it is stirring up, of the possibility of trouble below the border, and we could have a very hostile and strange neighbor on our border. Rather than making them or talking about putting up a fence, why don't we work out some recognition of our mutual problems, make it possible for them to come here legally with a work permit, and then while they're working and earning here, they pay taxes here. And when they want to go back, they can go back.
Okay, the next clip I want to show you is from the presidential debate between George H.W. Bush and Dukakis. And I want to show you the moment, and you'll see this is from C-SPAN, this short clip I'm going to show you, though, where Dr. Fauci is being interviewed, and they show Dr. Fauci a portion of the presidential debate between Bush and Dukakis, where Bush says that Dr. Fauci is his hero. Again, Republican president running for office at that time, though, saying Fauci's his hero. Play the clip.
CDC, of what the CDC is for us. They sort of coordinate health globally throughout the various nations.
Let me show you some video that you probably haven't seen for a long time. This goes back to 1998. It's very quick. It's from the debate, George Herbert Walker Bush and Michael Dukakis, and they're talking about heroes.
I agree with the governor on athletics, and there's nothing corny about having sports heroes, young people that are clean and honorable and out there setting the pace. I think of Dr. Fauci. Probably never heard of him. Well, you did. Ann heard him. He's a very fine research, top doctor at National Institute of Health, working hard doing something about research on this disease of AIDS.
That was 1988. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
What was the impact on you when he mentioned that?
Well, I didn't know that I didn't see the debate. I was out of town coming in on a plane, and the next morning when I walked into the NIH, as I walked into the lobby, people started going like this, and I said, "What is this all?"
And then here's a small clip from an interview that I just did with Democratic Congress member Adam Schiff, who's running for the Senate seat in California. And here's what he had to say. It's a short clip. Here's what Congressmember Schiff had to say about one of the most vile and damaging things that Trump and this new MAGA mutation has done in our country. Play this clip.
I think the most damaging thing Trump has done through his presidency and continuing on to the president is this relentless assault on the truth. He has created a world in his party where a public servant like Anthony Fouchy can be made into a villain, and a villain like George Santos can be made into a public servant.
Okay, so with that as the backdrop, let me read you some of these statements. Right here, someone wrote to me, I was a registered Republican since the age of 18. I am 61 now. I hated Trump way before he got involved in politics, so I couldn't stomach voting for him in 2016. Since then, I have changed and now become a Democrat all the way, still trying to convince my family to join me. I will vote blue from now on. Renee writes, my 74-year-old Republican father went blue in 2020 to get big bully Donald out of office. Not only that, my daughter even registered to vote blue and sat for hours at home combing through her first mail-in ballot to get the horrible man out. My beloved grandpa, who I miss every day since his passing, fought in World War II for democracy in our country and would love to meet Mr. Bully face to face if he were able to, just to show him what a real man is. The least my family can do is vote blue in his honor for the sacrifices my grandpa made and that ignoramus orange man disgraced. And by the way, my grandpa was also a tail gunner for B-29 in World War II. Next up, Gemma writes, I have been a Republican all my life. I voted for Trump in 2016, and he taught me a lesson to be more involved in your politics. For me, red is dead. Stephen writes, lifelong Republican, voted Trump 2016, voted Biden in 2020, and changed my party to Democrat because of MAGA. I'm blue till I die. Emmanuel Moda writes, I grew up a Republican in a Republican household, but I would never vote for Trump. It was obvious from the 2015 presidential debates there was something seriously wrong with this guy. I'm an independent now, and the way things are going with Trump, MAGA, the right-wing Supreme Court, and the continuing fascist trend of the Trumpists, I will never vote Republican again. KLT 479 writes, I can no longer support the childish, selfish, anti-democratic, anti-American, destructive, immoral, illegal, hate-filled, discriminatory antics of the Republican Party. I'm committed to active voting against those supporting these approaches. Next up, Robert Wagner 6381. I'm a former Republican who voted for Reagan and Bush. I'm 67 and saw Trump coming a mile away. I proudly voted for Joe Biden, and I'm so glad I did. My dad was a 32-year Army veteran who joined the Army at 17 and served for 32 years, fought in World War II. Trump's disrespect for the military and his lying, cheating, and stealing have driven me to vote for Biden, and now I'm so glad that I did. Sandy writes, this one's an interesting one. My husband voted for Trump in 2016, and I almost divorced him over it. But he got wise within the first year of Trump's presidency. He promised never to vote for him again, and he didn't. I'm a never Trumper because I could see exactly who he is and what he is. The biggest threat to democracy in my lifetime, and I'm in my 60s. Vote blue. Blue heart, American flag. Thank you, Ben. I've been a registered Republican for most of my 70 years and mistakenly voted for Trump in 2016. Never again. Biden is a gem of a person. Jonathan Weber writes, I was a Republican voter for 50 years, but a guy that I work with pointed out all the false statements and what the Republicans were doing, so now I vote blue. JMB writes, I have been a Republican and voted across party lines since I was 18. I have considered myself a never Trumper since 2016, and in 2020 I voted Democrat for the first time, only to vote out the MAGA politicians. I am still conservative, but I don't like what the Republican Party has become. And to that I say the Republican Party is not conservative. There's nothing conservative about their behavior right now, so don't even call them conservative. Miranda writes, my husband was a Republican for the majority of his life and was registered one for 25 years. We are both now registered as independents. He voted for Biden in the last election and plans to vote blue across the board in 2024. Trump will never gain either of our votes. The current Republican Party is not the party of our parents, and neither of us have any interest in supporting them, despite our upbringing. Anecdotally, my father, 71, has also been a lifelong Republican and has never voted blue until the last election. Moreover, he will not vote for Trump under any conditions in 2024. For me, that says more than any poll could report. And it's a great point. I mean, what we are sharing here is primarily anecdotal, but when we get tens of thousands of stories like this, and we know how this pro-democracy community is growing, and we know how active you are all out there sharing these videos with people, sharing the MeidasTouch network with people, getting the facts in front of people, understanding how existential this is. That's why I felt very, very good heading into this year and feel very good right now with where the momentum's at. But we need your help. We need you to keep on getting these messages out and sharing videos like this with people that you know. Here's a final comment I'll read, then I want to show you something. I'm a 55-year-old, this is Mitz YPI. I'm a 55-year-old female who registered as a Republican, very young and uninformed. I voted across party lines and never felt the need to change my party affiliation until Trump ran in 2016. After he won the nomination, I immediately went online and changed my affiliation to independent. I found myself voting more Democratic and now will not vote Republican because I cannot trust anything they say. They forced me to stick to a party line, and that's Democrat. I'm so glad I found the MeidasTouch and appreciate each and every video promoting democracy. Thank you to the entire MTN team with 3 blue hearts. Thank you, everyone. Share your story with me as well. Now, you saw those videos I played at the beginning. Here I want to share with you, this is the video, this was President Biden on Friday, and here President Biden's talking about how he wants to reach a border deal, how he's trying to reach a border deal, how he wants to put resources at the border that requires legislation, and MAGA Republicans are refusing to do a deal because Trump's saying don't do a deal, and President Biden's like, I'm trying to come up with solutions here. But when the MAGA Republicans control the House, it has to pass in both chambers. The Senate's coming up with a bipartisan bill. But Trump has ordered the MAGAs in the House not to do anything because they want to run on the issue versus solve the problems. I don't know about you watching this. I'm a problem solver. I like a president like Biden who's trying to solve the problems. Problems are going to arise. The Trump way is to whine about it and complain about it and to blame other people. The pro-democracy way is to roll up our sleeves and get to work. Here's President Biden right here.
I've been clear from the very beginning, the system is broken. My first day in office, I sent Congress a comprehensive plan on immigration reform. My friends on the other side have done nothing with that. Over and over, I've asked for resources to step up action at the border. In October, I asked Congress to fund for funding that would add another 22,000 additional border agents and officers, hundreds of new immigration judges to make the judgments on the spot, a new detection equipment to stop fentanyl from coming into the country. And by the way, I've worked with China and Mexico to slow the flow of fentanyl in the United States. As I speak, it's way down. So let me be clear. My team has been at the table for weeks now with a bipartisan group of senators to negotiate a deal, including border, because I believe we need significant policy changes at the border, including changes in our asylum system to ensure that we have authorities we need to control the border. And I'm ready to act. I think, hope God willing, and the creek not rising, as my grandpop would say. I think next week we ought to be able to work out something, at least in the Senate. And I'm hopeful it's going to be the bipartisan package the Senate is going to pass, God willing. Now the question is for the Speaker and the House Republicans. Are they ready to act as well? They have to choose whether they want to solve a problem or keep weaponizing issues to score political points against the president. I'm ready to solve the problem, I really am. Massive changes, and I mean it sincerely. Today, folks.
There you have it, folks. Please share with me your story. If your story, or you know someone, friend, family member, coworker, whoever, who has a similar story, put it in the comments right now. I would love to share your stories on the next video I do in this series. Subscribe right now. Share the MeidasTouch Network with friends, family members, coworkers, people that you know. Let's keep growing this community and let's get to 2 million subscribers. Have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.